What's up guys, and welcome, it's InfernoKun here with my Telltale's Game of Thrones Episode 4, Sons of Winter, trailer breakdown. Gonna be a few days till the episode comes out, so I might as well go ahead and elaborate on what's going to happen in the episode because it's getting very hype. So, I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer, then I'll break it down.
I thought you were gonna be by my side at Forresters, but you broke your vows. There's no coming back from this.
My family's counting on me to put things right. Vows aren't going to stop me.
Why did you come here?
I just need your help.
My sellswords will help me free the slaves of Meereen. Get them into the city, and I will see that you are rewarded.
Why the hell are you drinking?
I have always hated this place.
Lord Whitehill is conspiring against my family, and someone is helping him.
Lena!
Something's happened.
I command Father's elite guard. They're yours, if you'll help us take down Griff.
It's time someone brought Griff down.
What are your orders?
Okay, so we have Gared at the wall and Jon Snow talking about how there's no coming back from breaking your vows at the Night's Watch. He is imprisoned and he needs to escape somehow because North Grove and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is that Carter is going to help him escape and break out of Castle Black because Carter wants to go back home where he belongs across the wall, and he might as well go ahead and bring Gared along with him because Gared wants to find the North Grove and Carter wants to help him do that, whether it's for personal gain or for friendship. So we'll see more about what Carter's going to do in this episode. He isn't really shown at all in the teaser, or trailer I mean. So we have that happening. Now, moving on, we have basically over in Slaver's Bay, we have Daenerys talking to Asher about getting the army, or the other way around really. So yeah, Asher wants the army from Daenerys, and she wants to go ahead and free Meereen from the wise masters, the slave owners, or whatever you want to call them. And she might as well go ahead and use Asher, who is somebody who's trained in combat, to go ahead and get her sellswords into Meereen, therefore they can liberate Meereen. So it's kind of like Daenerys is using him for a favor, and she's going to give him the sellswords in return. So it's pretty much better than what I thought it was going to be. She's somehow using, you know, Viserion to make Asher do it, and she's like, hey, you will do this, and I will give you your army because of that. But it is a high risk because, you know, Beskha, Malcolm, Asher could end up possibly getting hurt in the process, and House Forrester could not really afford to lose Malcolm or Asher, so it's a pretty risky thing they gotta do to get their sword army. But hey, it will be worth it in the end whenever they get this whole army to come fight for House Forrester. So that's pretty interesting. Now, I hope Daenerys actually does this because she is a woman of her word most of the time, and she's a pretty reasonable person. So we might be seeing this favor actually rewarded. So that's pretty cool. Now, whenever Dany mentions Meereen going in there, Beskha had a sad look on her face, and it's kind of getting into this other scene where you see Beskha drinking and she's all sad and stuff, and she mentioned that she hates Meereen. Now, Meereen is a slave city, so what I'm thinking is that Beskha used to be a slave of Meereen. That's why she hates this place, because she was enslaved, and maybe she actually broke out of Meereen and became a sellsword. That's why she's, you know, so useful now. That's kind of a bit, you know, vague thing I can actually pick up, but maybe she lost her family there, maybe something else, but it actually depends, you know. Why would Beskha hate Meereen so much that she won't even want to go back in there? So tell me your thoughts on why Beskha hates Meereen so much, and obviously she will be going into Meereen for her mission, so we'll see what happens there. Hopefully everything goes very well. So moving on, we have Mira mentioning that there's some kind of Whitehill agent, some kind of Whitehill person conspiring against the Forresters, or maybe even Mira herself, because Mira has to sell the ironwood to King's Landing or other people who wants to buy it, and the Whitehills are right now in control of the ironwood. So having an agent there who's interfering with Mira, who possibly knows what she's up to, could be very dangerous for her. So Mira, and possibly Sarah, I hope she actually helps out too, will probably figure out who this person is and stop them. Not sure how they will, because, you know, Mira hasn't really, you know, been up to snuff with her combat skills. So we'll see how that actually turns out. Anyways, pretty interesting. I think Mira has the most, you know, easiest part of this thing. She has to stop some people, but it's going pretty well. Anyone could be an agent for the Whitehill, so we have to look out and be sharp when it comes to figuring out who it is. So moving on to the most WTF part in this trailer, we have Elena Glenmore coming with her brother to show the elite guard of the Glenmores, and that's pretty much awesome. So basically, the Glenmores and the Forresters have a common enemy, who are the Whitehill. So it would make sense to actually help out Rodrik defeat Griff and get him out of Ironrath. Now, Elena's brother has offered Rodrik this elite guard to go ahead and take out the Whitehills and expel Griff from Ironrath. Now, it kind of makes it a bit, you know, weird, because we chose to actually expel Griff or save Ryon, so I'm not really sure how that'll actually affect the story depending on your choices. And I'm wondering if the betrothal between Elena and Rodrik actually affects the elite guard coming to offer Rodrik some help. Now, it kind of goes different ways, because the betrothal is kind of like, oh, you're marrying somebody who's a Forrester who is in trouble with the Whitehills, therefore you kind of must help. And this kind of like a common enemy thing. We have the Glenmores and Forresters, they both hate the Whitehills, so I'm wondering how choices from the previous episodes will actually affect whether or not they come or not. It actually depends. That's a pretty big thing to leave out of the story. I forgot to mention this, but if you look at Rodrik's scars in this screenshot, you see it's a lot more cleaner, you know. In episode 2 and 3, it was deeper and it was really visible, but it's starting to actually fade and starting to heal. So it's looking a lot better, looking like it's not as, you know, bad as it was. So just wanted to point that out. Tell me what you guys think. It might just be me, you know, I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. We have a small glimpse of some things we're going to see throughout the episode. We have Asher taking on some of the Meereen guards. Lots of action. It's going to be pretty cool. And then we have Gared probably moving stealthily to get out of Castle Black without being noticed, or he might even just go make a run for it and get out of there. Then we have Rodrik busting in the room like a boss, probably go ahead and take on Griff from the other scene we see in a few seconds. Then we have Beshka and Asher sneaking into Meereen, which is pretty cool. Next we have a picture of Lud Whitehill. He looks pretty angry, probably from the meeting they're going to have, which is going to be pretty interesting to see what the meeting's about, because it could be after they confront Griff with the elite guard or before, so we'll see about that. This one is pretty interesting, pretty like, wow, we have Asher and Beshka fighting for whatever reason. That's pretty interesting because, you know, it's kind of like, why? They're like best friends and they're fighting. I know Beshka's going to be pretty pissed off from the past and all kind of stuff going into Meereen, but, you know, it's kind of interesting to see that she will actually turn to fighting Asher for whatever reason. So it's pretty interesting. I want to see what provokes her to actually go and fight Asher. That's pretty interesting scene right here. Now let's go ahead and move on to, we have Gared fighting some Wildlings, and we do not see Cotter there for whatever reason, because if he's a Wildling, obviously they'll know that they're one of his kind, so they wouldn't attack Gared. But Gared is a guy of nice watch, so it would provoke them to actually go ahead and attack him. So it's pretty bad for him to have to fight some Wildlings. Hopefully Cotter can get them to stop, if he's even there. He might even get captured by them and might have to be forced to become a Wildling. So kind of interesting in what's going to happen here. Moving on, we got a random picture of Viserion, and the most interesting part, we have the elite guard and the Glenmore soldiers coming into the Great Hall of the Forresters to apprehend Griff and his soldiers, and we might even have a choice to either kill Griff because he asked for the orders. Now, what's going to be your orders? Now, you can either probably kill Griff or maybe even kick him out, because I think that both of them will be an option in this episode. Now, I think that killing Griff will actually set off Lord Whitehill to actually go ahead and kill Ryon, so we'll see what happens there. But pretty much, this was an awesome trailer. Stuff is getting a lot easier for the Forresters, and they have a bit of an upper hand against the Whitehill, so we'll see what happens in the episode when it comes out Tuesday. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, leave a thumbs up. It helps out a lot, and I do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe for more Telltale Games videos and other stuff like that. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I'm out.